Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning into the day's energy, seeing the divine messages of guidance come through. I hope this reading finds you happy and healthy and enjoying your journey to becoming more and more yourself. All right. The overall energy of this reading is disruption in reverse. This is the Tower in reverse. This is trying to hold something together that's meant to fall apart. That's something. Feel like I'm tuning into somebody who's been in a lot of fix-it energy, wounded healer, fixing everybody in the environment, trying to regulate and make everything okay in the environment. There's a bit of people-pleasing to this, of a need to create safety and security. Instead of creating it within yourself, you were raised to take care of everybody in the environment. There's parentification here. There's a lack of acknowledging when something has expired, when it's time to let something fall apart. That's falling apart. So a lot of effort trying to keep something. It feels like it's already fallen apart energetically, but there's something you haven't acted on that. You haven't let it fully fall apart, fall away. It feels like something is trying to fall away. Yeah, it's Death card. It's done. It's over with, but it feels like you're staying in an environment, maybe in a relationship past an expiration date, trying to make something work out of something that has expired. And so once something has expired, there's decay. You can't create out of this. It's it feels like the reading is about how to let something that's ended, how to let it go. How it feels like it's easier said than done, because it feels like you're operating programs. The way you've been raised, the way you've been operating is that you keep things together. You keep things from falling apart, and so you're not sure how to let something end that's over, how that looks, how that feels, how to move on from something that's over. There's abandonment wounds here. It feels like I don't want to be alone, I don't want to be abandoned, that are keeping you from in an environment where it's already expired. Things are falling apart. There's a need to learn a new way of being. And by staying in this environment where there are no options for you, and there's no potential for this space, for this relationship, it feels like there's some acceptance of reality that would be a good first step. To no longer abandon yourself and try to keep something together that's already over. You can learn a new way of being. You can figure this out. Yeah, slow going, one moment at a time, one day at a time. There's no options and no potential here. So, interesting reading. Let's look at hidden blessings. We have the Two of Pentacles, movement, choices, decisions. Indeed. It feels like you do have blessings here. You have choices and decisions to make. In this card, this person here has several doors they can walk through. Feels like this person just needs to stop choosing something that's over. Might be hard because maybe your focus has been on keeping something together, holding something together, not letting something fall apart for so long. It's hard to perceive other options, that there's anything else out there. But there is. It's time to make some moves. It's time to make some healthy choices, some healthy decisions. Decisions for you, for your well-being is what I'm getting. What is it that you want to go towards? What would help the viewer in the hidden blessings? Thank you. 8 of Cups. It's time to walk away. There are definitely emotions attached to this environment. That's something is over. But it's not your 9 of Cups. It's not your fulfillment. And it feels like there's an emotional attachment. There's love. There are feelings. But it's time to go. I think this 8 of Cups takes a lot of maturity to recognize that you have feelings for someone or in an environment. You still have loving emotional feelings because you've created that for yourself in that environment. But you have the maturity to realize that this is not sustainable. Has ended, and it's time for me to go. So taking your emotions with you and taking care of your emotions, saying, my energy's a bit split. My emotions are very loving and wanting something to continue, but being smart about it, being logical, seeing things as they are. It's time to make choices, time to make decisions, time to walk away. There's a level of maturity that's being asked. Yes, my heart, my emotions don't want to leave, but I'm seeing and accepting the reality of the situation, and it's time to move on. That's what I'm getting. What you're leaving behind is truth reversed. 20. Judgment. What you're leaving behind is an environment that's very critical. So you're leaving behind judgment reversed. You're leaving behind a very critical environment. Ooh. Very critical. Very judgmental against you. It's not fair. The truth is not welcome in the environment you're leaving behind. It also feels like the people or person in the environment that I've been discussing can't be criticized. They can't handle the truth. They don't want the truth. They want their reality, their version of reality. There's no balance here. There's no growth. So you're leaving that behind. Look at this image. Feels like it doesn't feel like where you've been, the truth, your perspective is welcome. And so it feels like it's hard to communicate. You're leaving behind people, person, situations that are very critical of you. It doesn't feel like you can get a fair shake. It feels like you're leaving behind people who have projected so long their negativity onto you that the reality has been lost. They can't perceive you. not really you and your light. They're interacting with a projection of you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm getting to take action to start leaving things behind. Maybe that's for some of you who haven't taken the action yet, that it's time to start leaving some things behind. Some people, situation, belief systems that don't work. People who are just choosing to be miserable. People who don't want to be happy. Leaving behind enmeshed relationships as well, maybe where you had to protect yourself from the people closest to you. It feels like you're leaving behind people who are supposed to care about you and for you, but instead it feels like you would get more care and support from strangers. So it feels like you're leaving behind toxic environments, doubling down on the judgment reversed. Wow. You're leaving behind very critical people, very criticizing. It doesn't feel like they have the same path that you do. It feels like you might be someone who's having awakenings, seeing things very differently, and you're leaving behind people who just can't perceive what you're perceiving. We all create our own reality, and it feels like your energy went in a different direction, and feels like you're leaving behind environments that aren't conducive to care and connection, but for you to be burdened and judged and carry the emotional baggage. There's also Three of Swords energy. This is heartbreaking and betrayal, staying in these environments, trying to make something work with someone who isn't putting in any effort. It feels like you're also leaving behind someone, maybe in a relationship, who isn't doing any work. They're burdening you. They're judging you. They don't find happiness with you. They blame everything on you. It almost feels like for some of you, people closest to you have been very punishing, coercive, to get you to be in line with them and the way they are perceiving things. That is not, as I am perceiving it, love or loving. That is controlling. That is manipulation. That is owning someone else instead of being a partner with someone else. And it feels like you're leaving behind someone who gives everyone else the best of who they are, and you receive the worst version of this person. I'm hearing David Grohl, Foo Fighters. I gave the best. You, that's all I'm hearing. And the yelling. So you're leaving that dynamic behind. This person also can't be criticized, but they judge people. And it makes them feel powerful, just constantly judging people, criticizing, nitpicking. This person doesn't want to be happy. This person wants to be right and in control. All right. How to get the most of this environment is wisdom in reverse. This is a Hierophant. I'm smiling because I've had a little dog that looks like this twice in my life. So, and the second my little dog Archie in the past was so wise. Looked just like this. He was just so good at meeting other people, other dogs, And he was my secret weapon in dog training because he could confidently meet any dog. And so dogs that had insecurities and a lot of reactivity, he just would heal. He didn't engage, he didn't match their energy. And so the dogs would join him in confidence. And he taught so many dogs how to feel safe in connections. So with wisdom in reverse, Hierophant, it feels like a broken contract. Feels like that's supporting you to let contracts be broken. This doesn't work. This could be a marriage contract, letting something end again. Don't try to keep it from coming apart, or let something that's ending, that's already ended, end. Feels like you can gain a lot of wisdom from what you've gone through. That just like Archie, my dog from the past, that you don't have to match this person's energy. As a matter of fact, it feels like not matching them, consciously unmatching and unmirroring from them would help clear your space. Bring your energy back from them, send their energy back. So energetic separations, cutting cords. That then you stop matching their energy, matching their. You might have a lot more matches with this person if you've been around them for a long time than you are aware of as well. And so finding your own way, letting this contract break, fall apart, feels like it brings you a lot of new opportunities, wisdom. All right. It feels like a long road for sure. Maybe that's part of a picture that's daunting for some of you. Moving away from this person, this energy feels like a long journey. Let me rephrase this so it might help. Time's going to pass anyway. So you can get going towards what you prefer and make that happen, or stay kind of stuck and stay miserable. Same amount of time is going to pass. What do you want to use? Do you want to take your power and make something happen in the way you prefer? Interesting. A broken contract is how to get the most of this energy. Feels like letting something go, taking the journey. There's a gift here. It feels like there's a future that's much more abundant for you. Letting this contract break, if it's like a marriage contract or an engagement, letting the engagement end, letting the marriage contract end, whatever this agreement, even if it's just unconscious agreements holding this relationship, this together, how to get the most of it is letting it fall apart. It's a gift. Might not feel like a gift, but it is actually a gift to acknowledge, accept the reality, and move on to calmer waters. Six of Swords. After, I think it's hard to tell how punishing the environment has been, because it feels like there's a lot of gaslighting, minimizing, diminishing your feelings and beliefs. And it feels like once you let this end and you have create some distance, some separation from this energy, you'll realize, looking back as this person is doing, like what you put up with, that was so punishing and so painful. And it's time to move on to calmer waters. It's time to take whatever you can and just leave. Just feel like I keep repeating the same thing. Okay. What's supporting you is Ace of Cups in reverse. Love begins. I think what's supporting you is realizing that this is not love. This is not loving. This activity is not loving. Being treated like this is not love or loving. And you don't have to convince anyone else. Just accepting, it feels like I do not receive this as love or loving. I don't want this anymore. I don't need to try to keep it together. I don't need to try to argue and try to get someone to hear me, try to convince someone to care about me. If you are in a position where you are having to beg someone to see you, to care about you, to appreciate you, that is not love. That is not loving. That is cruel. I think recognizing uncomfortable truths will help you. Uncomfortable truths can be painful. Like, oh my God, that hurts. Emotions, that hurts. But it's a truth. It begs the question, yes, this might hurt emotionally, this truth. But is this truth harmful? Or is it helpful? Just because it emotionally hurts, that's for you to work through truths and accepting. It feels like accepting. Feels like there's very well a grieving process. Denial, anger, bargaining, something, acceptance. And it feels like accepting the painful truth. The reality, not how it should be, not how this person should behave, not how they said they would behave, not the fantasy version, but just being like, okay, here's the reality. There it is. I don't feel loved. This is not loving. I'm not going to get loving out of an environment that's unloving. It also feels like your cup is very empty. That you have given everything. Wow. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Nothing you plant in this environment will grow. It feels like you're very out of alignment with your own alignment, and you've attuned to someone else for so long. You're so out of alignment. Nothing will grow in this environment. Wow. All right. What to be mindful of is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Material and spiritual prosperity in reverse. Marital as well. I don't feel like it's in reverse. It feels like there's no one investing in this relationship. Maybe you've even stopped investing in this connection. It feels like it's expired. It's over. But you just haven't allowed the next step. It feels like the energy is saying everything's over. There might be financial reasons why you're staying together. That's come up. Pentacles has come up a couple times. So it might be I don't have the financial abundance to go at it alone. I don't have the stability, security. There might be children involved. So that, of course, complicates the issue. So, if that is the case, what to be mindful of is taking steps. If you can't just take a step away from this relationship while you're still in it and it's already fallen apart, everything other than maybe acknowledging it and taking steps like, let's separate, let's make this happen, feels like if you're still in this environment that I've been discussing, to start taking steps towards how can I create? How can I create abundance? How can I create a next step for myself? Do I need to seek an attorney? Do I want to make sure that I'm safe, secure, stable going forward? I want to take care of myself. So taking steps towards that, it's not going to happen on its own. So it feels like okay. And some of you are wow. Some of you, there's an energy of waiting for someone else to come in and rescue you, or going into another relationship. If that's the case, it feels like you'll be repeating patterns without going through the grieving process, allowing yourself to heal, allowing some space, some clarity, some understanding to come in, to do some reflection and self-work. So you don't need a relationship. It feels like if you feel like I need a relationship, I need to be in a partnership, again, because of the financial stability, or there's just a belief, it feels like maybe looking at those beliefs. Is that really, do you really need, and if you need a relationship, if you need someone, then that's how people take advantage of you, through your needs, your unmet needs. And people afraid of being abandoned, that don't want to be alone, that's the worst thing possible, attract partners who treat them very poorly. Maybe a diminishing returns type of scenario. They put up a lot of effort up front to get you hooked in, but then do less and less, put less and less work into it, because you will tolerate a lot because you don't want the relationship to end. You have a lot of fix-it type of energy and so allowing something to end and then go, I'm going to take some time for me. I'm going to take some time to grieve and allow myself to feel all the feelings, probably some repressed feelings and emotions. Go through the process, work on me so I can be complete within myself. And in that completeness, I can invite a partnership at that level. Someone who then I know what it is that I want, and I won't accept less because I won't have a wound that's unhealed that someone's taking advantage of. The moment someone tries to take advantage of a wounding, you would say, oh, no, thank you. We're done. And they, what? Because you don't need them. You are choosing the relationship. The intentions from a relationship are very different from what I've been describing here versus the possibility, the potential. It looks like you've been attracted to people who exhibit wounds, unhealed wounds. And yes, there's an attraction to that energy, very attractive. But going forward, it looks like if you no longer invest in relationships that aren't what you want, but you're not needing them, then it feels like a lot more fun too, a lot more easygoing, because you don't need this person. You're not projecting, oh, I need this. So you meet someone, you meet a new person, and you're projecting onto them like, I need you to be the one. That's a lot. That's a lot to put on someone. I need you to be everything for me. I need you to fulfill a lot of unhealed wounds that I have. That's a lot. How about like, hey, let's have some fun. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's get to know each other. I'm curious. I want to get to know this person. Not, I need you to be the one for me. Do you feel the difference? I mean, I'm obviously exaggerating, but hopefully that helps. It looks like going forward, these type of kind of people coming in and saying something that pulls you in, that gets you in your needs. It doesn't look like you're addressing, it feels like you're not interested unless they're mature, unless they have the person, and it takes some time to get to know someone to see if, I love what this person is saying. It's bells and whistles, love it. But let's give it some time to see if what they say matches with their actions. Let's get this person in different environments, around groups of people, their friends. How do they treat you around their friends? How do they treat you in the environments with you? Is that enjoyable? Do you enjoy that type of, can they hang? Give it time. No rushing in. I'm also getting, for some of you, it feels like in relationships at the beginning especially, there's physicality, physical, sexual connection. And you might be attracting someone who only knows how to connect through the sexual act, that they're not connecting in mature ways through communication, through how they show up in caring and sharing for others. It feels like if the only connection is a sexual connection, that is beautiful. I'm not poo-pooing sexual fire and fun, but it feels like this is an asterisk on this reading, that maybe in the past getting very carried away and following those sexual desires very quickly in the relationship, yes, creates amazing connection, but it feels like might be attracting someone that's the only way they can connect. And it takes time to see, can you connect in a mature way? Can you communicate in a way that I enjoy? Do you show up when you say you're going to? Are you really who you are? When we go through some type of difficulty, watch how they show up, how they handle it. Can they handle it? If you have a different point of view, can you feel comfortable stating your point of view, or do you feel like you have to match and believe as they do? Are you allowed to be a whole ass individual with your own feelings and emotions? So, all right. This reading, I'm halfway through. If you want to join me over on Patreon, there's a link in the description box below. It says extended reading here. There's a link. You take that link, it goes right to part 2 on Patreon. Thank you all so much for those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon, so I can crowdsource and support the work that I do here so I can continue doing these readings. So in the extended reading over on Patreon, we're halfway through the reading. I'll be looking at health, relationships, creativity, new opportunities, and career and finance. So if you want to join me, you click on the link, takes you right to Patreon. It's $5 a month, and you get all the extended readings, not just one, but every month. It covers an umbrella. So pretty good deal. So I'll see those of you over there, and for the rest of you, have a great day.